Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah,
This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement. Yeah, there's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience. Yeah, in this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah,
Check.
All right, Chicagoland Speedway, here we go. A mile and a half track. And race number 23 of this Sim500 NCA11.org Cup Series about to kick off. Round number 23 from this 1.5 mile, 18-degree bank track just to the southwest of the city of Chicago. As I always give a shout out to IKEA that sits out there in turn 3. As we're getting ready to go racing here for 134 laps and 200 miles of racing. And the captain, Kevin England, of course, joining us here this evening on this Monday. A little overcast right now as we get ready to go into qualifying, of course. That is presented by 811. But Kevin, Chicagoland, a favorite of a lot of drivers. And they had to make some changes here to the setup a little bit.
Yeah, this place is a little bit like comfortable shoes. It's a fun place to race. There's a lot of different lanes. There's a lot of different speed and corner strategies that you can have. And I don't know, I want to use the word pedestrian in a good way.
Right.
I really feel like it's a fun racetrack to get around, and everybody seems to take a shine to this place, which makes it a more exciting race.
And you know it's obviously a driver-friendly track when I tell you that I have the most league wins of any track at this track. So if I can win here, anyone can win here at this track. Just putting it out there. So qualifying is officially underway. And we look at Glenn Campbell, who has been dynamite, literally, here in qualifying these last few weeks. And it doesn't matter what car it is. In at 44s, he's out on track. So, Kevin, obviously, we don't know much about this car on this track. It's one that doesn't get ran often. And with the gearing change in the car, they were talking about how they were hitting a chip almost halfway down the front straightaway here. So that part was able to be fixed. But we're carrying some pretty high speeds around here.
Yeah, this racetrack allows you to just kind of stay in it. You breathe the throttle on entry, you wait for it to set up in the middle, and then you drive it off. And, again, I think we're going to see a pretty competitive race here. There's plenty of room to run, there's different lanes in the corners. Kind of reminds me of Michigan in that way, or even Fontana. I think we're going to see 2 and 3 wide racing here. Yeah, Mr. Campbell, he's got it going on lately. He just has seemed to have found a little mojo in the middle of the season here. And right now, a 30.98 puts him at the top of the board as drivers starting to put in their first lap.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan just actually jumped him. So did Joe Hudson. So did Kevin Brown. Then Donnie Leah carrying that momentum from the last couple weeks. Jumps up 30.78. Eric Arnold with 30.99. So now we're starting to break that 30-second barrier. Jose Speedy Gonzalez there, 30.94. Callan Tony just jumped on the board. Here's Tyler Dalton, as I believe he's starting his lap right now. Gonna kind of do the throwaway lap. Down into turn 1, Macklin 30.91. Doug Roth 30.95. So as you see, the 90s where you need to go. You might have to, well, you're gonna have to break a 78 to get the pole, but to start in the front row, there's an 89 right on cue. I was about to say you might have to get in the 80s.
We'll have to see where Dalton nets out here as he's on his lap too. As he comes across the line, he's going to put in a 39.7. So no pole for him tonight.
Which, believe it or not, is actually his best qualifying of the weekend. Last night he was not able to complete a lap, started in the back, and had to fight his way up to where he did in the end. So tonight a little bit better of a qualifying effort, but I'm sure he's not going to be too thrilled with that. And it looks like Donnie might be the pole sitter. Got a couple more weapons out there to dodge as I look over at see who's on track here. Jimmy Coleman back in this 54 car. Let's see what kind of lap he runs. Yeah, he's on the second side. That's where he's at, 31.53. Joey Jatino with a blistering lap, 35.86. I think he forgot there's 5 gears in the car.
Coleman rolls through turn 3 and 4 right now on his second lap. He's going to come off turn 4, let the car roll up to the fence, turn it down to the apron, right past that start finish line, and see what he gets. It's a 39.6, little better than the first one for sure.
Yeah, it looks like obviously the second lap being the fastest, and that should be it. Everybody's running their laps, it appears, here in qualifying. So Donnie Leah going to be on the pole for the 811 Pole Award. Congratulations to him, as we got about 40 seconds left or so here in qualifying. Obviously got the late post out there for the broadcast, and hopefully everybody was able to get to it over there on the Discord page or wherever they're at to watch the broadcast on Facebook or YouTube. I see Kip Cook already has joined us here this evening. Take a look at the point standings. 3 races left after tonight. We literally have Chicago, Kentucky, and Daytona. Those 3 tracks left on the schedule before we set the grid for 20 drivers to go into the playoffs. Joe Hudson, the bubble guy right now, but one thing we do need to play into effect here, 23 starts. Obviously, you got to eliminate 4, so anybody with 19 or less starts, those people are likely ineligible according to the rules. Joe Hudson right on the border right now. Glenn Campbell is, I believe, let's see, it's 22, and he should be on the, he would be the bubble guy when it comes to starts with 18. And going from there. So E.J. O'Rourke, Bentley Glazier, for example, Donnie Leah, Scott Stenzel, those guys are not eligible due to the minimal races need to be ran right now. But that's where we sit. Pedro Mojica with a pretty nice lead, 73 over David Comstock, Mike Kelly, Chad Coleman, Josh Parker, your top 5 as we get ready to go racing here at Chicago. So, your experiences here at this track, Kev. Obviously, I know lately when I've run here, it starts at the bottom, and then we're usually working our way towards the fence before the end of a run.
Yeah, this track, is funny as it seems, you would think it's got a straightaway and a straightaway, but
No.
the back is really curved. The front is obviously round like Richmond, and you're always in the corner here. That's what it feels like. And you carry so much speed off of 2 and into turn number 3 because of the way the backstretch is shaped. And really, you're just trying to find, like, say, a New Hampshire, that perfect spot where you come into the corner and you find the groove. And, I think we've seen some guys change their groove up, even go in one lap down low, go in the next lap up high, just to balance the tire wear. And the car seems to take whatever you get from it as they line up on the grid here. We'll just kind of see where the trends are. It's different every time we come back here.
It is. As we look at the starting lineup, Donnie Leah on the pole carries that momentum from his top 2 the last couple of weeks, including a win as he starts there P1 alongside Scott Simley, who won a couple weeks ago at Atlanta. Tommy Ryan, Brian Macklin there, row 2. Wesley Donaldson and Jose Gonzalez, row 3. As I guess I should share the screen with you, huh? Row 4 is where you'll see Glenn Campbell, Joe Hudson there in that 15 car, Anthony Calantoni and the Roth, Doug Roth there, starting there in the 10th position. Jimmy Coleman and Kevin DeBrown. Make sure you get the right screen there. In row number 12, as cars roll off. Do you have the lineup in front of you? I guess I should ask beforehand.
Yes, sir.
All right, you want to go ahead and read off the rest?
I
didn't want to put you in. I didn't want to put you in an uncomfortable spot. This is called being a good host, people, or lack thereof. But anyways,
Yeah,
Tyler Dalton starts 13th. I got you.
do.
I got you. I'll take care of you. Chad Coleman 14th.
Never like a word, man.
What's that? Eric Arnold and Nelson Rivera, row 8, row 9. EJ O'Rourke, Richard Beasley, Pedro Mojica, Mike Kelly in row 10. And you see the rest of the field, including Seth Foudy. Let me get the right camera up here. There we go. Joey Jatina, 27th. Parker, per usual, in the back. Stenzel, Ritter, Sigmund, Livingston. That's your 32 starters. Same amount as last night. That will take the green flag. Race information tonight. The usual iRacing default weather. 134 laps, 200 miles. Track temp at 102. And that's only because, hey, you, get off of my cloud. There's clouds in the air. So, as we go to racing. Pace car pulls in. Donnie Leah, Scott Simley on the front row from Chicagoland. It's race 23. 3 races to go until the playoffs. Here we go.
Everybody grabs a gear, comes up through into turn number 1. They're side by side with Leah out front, leading the parade out of turn number 2 to the backstretch.
I'm not sure if he got loose maybe on entry or what the deal was there.
Commentary from some of the drivers about the way that start went through.
Oh boy.
Not sure if they were too happy with it, but so far meaning green.
As they do complete lap 1, Donnie Leah will lead it.
I'm curious as to whether they'll charge. Obviously in these restarts you got to get what you can. You could be pretty comfortable high or low line here, but you got to be careful on the exit of turn 2. Sometimes the car pushes up a little bit. Still see side by side all the way through to about the top 20.
Which the point I should mention, you started to talk about there before we got to the lineups, Kev, the back straightaway being curved. Obviously, it's an element that Chicagoland put in back when the track was built in 2001. But it also plays a key role in the track. Now, I said they did an on-track feature tonight because of just the timing of these things. But one thing is, Macklin goes about third, groove up, 3 wide for second. That was a power move up there. I didn't think you can go up there that quick. As Tyler Dalton's like, hey, let me try that now in 3 and 4. There's a nasty bump up there, though, you got to be careful of.
You also got to be careful not to bounce off that outside wall in turn 4.
Well, and that's where I was going with the turn 3. As you go into entry on turn 3, there's a part, if you look closely, there's branch pretty much covering the whole entire backstretch wall from the start of the back straightaway to the end of it. There's a part where the brand coloring goes from red to a little bit of a white top. And that is where the safer barrier begins, going into turn 3. And you can easily misangle the corner and hit that. And if you do, it'll bounce you out into the field. And I don't mean the grass field, I mean the field of cars. So that is something we're going to have to watch tonight and make sure nobody makes that mistake, especially if we get some cautions late in this race or whatever. But one trend I will share, whatever happens on Sunday night usually becomes the opposite on Monday night. Last night we had some wrecks.
so far everybody's pretty well behaved right now. So Macklin had a good start here in the personal cup for Toyota, running second, chasing down Donnie Leah. And these guys, they talk about how much clean air makes a difference. It plays a role in fuel mileage.
Yeah.
And we don't know if Donnie Leah is going to be at a disadvantage if he stays out front, or whether he's really enjoying that clean air and Macklin wants to take it from him.
Okay, downshift in the fourth as he went to the top groove, see if there was anything there yet. And it looked like he lost a little momentum when he did the shift.
Tell you one guy who could use a little bit of luck here, running in the sixth position, hunting fifth right now, is Jose Gonzalez. His last couple of weeks have been up and down, up and down. Tonight, starting here in the top five with good track position. They talk about how track position makes a big difference if you can have it at the beginning of the race. And Jose right now in that fifth position behind, who notably has been one of the most improved drivers through the middle of the season here, Scott Simley, running in fourth. That number 12 is one to keep an eye on when we get to the end of this championship run.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Jose, I think one thing that's kind of hurt him a little bit this season is there have been a lot of times in the season he's been up front. And then all of a sudden it's like, where'd he go? And then he gets caught up in something. So hopefully that doesn't continue to be the trend. As you see, Tyler Dalton already worked his way up to the 8th position. A couple big movers already. Gio Rourke, Pedro Mojica, Jeff Ryan, they're up to 17th. And of course, I'd be lying if I didn't say Josh Parker's name in that battle somewhere. Already laps complete here. This time by. And should start to see a little bit of handling coming into play, a little bit of tire wear potentially becoming an issue. And you'll probably start seeing the cars migrate north, and I mean up the track. I know in trends of watching a Gen 4 race Friday night here, a truck race that I ran in a couple times in open and fixed racing a few weeks ago. That track gets free down on the bottom, and eventually you have to work your way up to the top to get the momentum and keep your car under you as much as you can. Now, obviously, this car, unlike any other, is different, so it'll probably be tight.
Yeah, I agree with you. In the past, when we've run this car on this racetrack, it felt like the first 10 laps it was pretty secure, but as the laps went on, especially off the exit of turn 4, the car would get a little boost. It would want to spin up on throttle, and we'll have to see if that dynamic shows up here, depending on changes they've made recently. I think the car's a little bit better, but right now they are single filed out, but here and there there's pockets. I have to say, Chad Coleman running 18th. Kind of surprised by that. I thought he would have a little higher run up front or come through pretty quickly. And right now he's just mired in traffic.
Roth about became the first person to try my method that I said not to do, as he just missed that outside wall when the barrier came out. But yeah, no, going back to Coleman. Coleman has these kind of races sometimes. He can get up there and race with the best of them. And then you'll notice, like, we won't say his name for a race or two. And I don't know if that's just a struggle bus or if it's not like the track or what the deal is. And, you know, unfortunately right now, like, this could be the case, but he could also be doing some kind of like a David Pearson type thing, and all of a sudden he'll be running 5th by lap 100.
You really can't say much about his progress, though, as far as, you know, from a point championship, he's still in the hunt. He's definitely right at the top of the stack there. So, and he's got good company right in front of him, Kevin Brown. He's been fast every week, so maybe these guys just decided to kind of ride it out here and see what they're going to get. They've got 3 wide in front of them. We're talking about Doug Roth. You got Roth right in the middle of the 10 of Beasley and the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke, who never shows too much patience here. He is trying to chase down Pedro, who is outside the top 10. How much have we said that at the beginning of a race?
You know, lately, last night, let's be real, he got himself into trouble with some pit strategy and even caused a wreck at the Richmond Raceway. And Pedro was looking at potentially a 2nd or 3rd straight race with a bad finish, as Eric Arnold sticks his Bears car up the middle there in the land of Chicagoans. And go back to Pedro real quick. Last night he took tires at the last caution with like 3 laps to go. He was able to drive up to a top 5 finish, a top 3 finish actually in the end. And that was his saving grace, was those tires. Or else you're probably looking at Pedro potentially being in a tie or close to a tie for the points lead as we go to the final race of the first round next Tuesday night. So at Michigan Speedway. So you wonder if tonight maybe he tries to turn that around, as Donnie Lee has led all 15 laps here so far. He's been freaky fast here these last few weeks. Brian Macklin right there with him. Tommy Ryan, you mentioned Simley, and Jose Gonzalez is the draft, I'm noticing, playing a pretty big role here.
Yeah, now everybody's pretty much got single file. If somebody gets a run, they might peek out and try and get something going. Of course, here comes Doug Roth to the bottom of the 41 of EJ O'Rourke out of turn 2. He's going to get a nose ahead and try and get to that quarter panel of the 51 of Jimmy Coleman. I think EJ is testing that outside lane just like Roth did. Well, Roth switched roles and went down to the white line.
Oh, looks like maybe almost some contact there between Roth and EJ. See Van Schaik there behind him also. As Eric Garland sticks her down to the bottom here, 3 wide. Tries, oh, and almost some contact there with the STP and Tide Ride.
These guys, when they get side by side like that and they slow up just a little bit, trying to ease off and making sure it brings everybody else into the battle. One of the characteristics that we see right now is through the top 20, nobody's driving away. Even Donnie Leah, who is out front right now, only maintains 0.2 of a second over the second place car. Everybody pretty much running nose to tail here. So a lot of opportunity if you get a run to see if you could duck down and get a pass.
But I just don't see the lane right now. I saw the third lane maybe open up there when Macklin made that pass earlier in his race, but up against the wall right now, it doesn't look like there's really anything to work with. Maybe give a little bit of time, maybe a little bit more worn tires, let the track rubber up a little bit, then you might see something. But right now, unfortunately, we got nothing.
He just might be testing that lane and or trying to ease through. If your car's wants to spin out, you run the higher groove, it doesn't put as much stress on that right rear tire, and that might pay off in the long runs. We've seen some of these guys testing the top. EJ, he's I don't know, he's on one lap, behind the other lap, zipping back and forth, just looking to see wherever he can find speed.
If you ever need somebody to clean it up and off the generation, we will do it for you and for free.
Yeah, little tire.
And I don't even know if EJ's really like a dirt guy like Reddick or a Larson or even a Seabell or any of those guys. As we complete lap number 20. Yep, let's get, by the way, we have our camera set up. Now, he had a rough run last night, but Seth Foudy back here in the one car as always gracious enough to shoot us his onboard camera. And last night he was wearing a white muscle shirt, it seemed like, and tonight he kept the camera in the same spot. Well, that looks like a blue muscle shirt now. I'm trying to see what it says on it. Oh, and a cameo from the daughter. This must be his new spotter.
You gonna flip the switch?
Hey, that's not funny.
I love the fact that he's just in the zone.
Yeah,
You
he's
can
focused.
see- Have you ever worn driver gloves?
I have not. I have shoes. I actually have I'll give them a shout out here. And based out of Indianapolis area there, 40 Racewear. It's a company ran by Jim Herrick. I actually have a pair of his shoes that he let me have. Him and I have known each other for a while. And he actually has a website that you can get those kind of gloves. Not mechanics wear, but his own kind of specially made gloves. And the shoes that I wear are like, they're almost like a little heavy sock, if you will. But no, the gloves, I can only imagine, like, the grip or whatever, having those on, it probably feel awkward to me. Because it's like, if I'm wearing gloves, I'm either digging in the yard or I'm playing with freight at work or whatever, you know? Not that I play with anyone's
I
pack.
think I could see the benefit of it, and I agree with you. Shoes, I think the perfect racing shoe would be wrestling shoes.
Yeah,
Like the
and that's
ASICS
exactly
wrestling shoes.
That's
They would be
exactly what
amazing.
they're. I mean, I could take a photo and maybe get them on the air, but that's exactly what they look like. Are wrestling shoes, very light. I mean, like I said, I feel like I'm wearing a heavy sock when I wear them, and obviously don't wear them outside or anything. But yeah, no, I think that's the perfect thing because you got a lot of people that have their own preference. Some people like to race barefoot, which is awkward to me because my foot sticks to the pedal end. Some people like to wear shoes, which that's awkward to me because it just doesn't feel right. It feels heavy. So I've always raced with socks. So then when I got the offer, I was like, all right, I'll put them on. And ever since then, I've raced with them. But otherwise, I'll race with socks.
I race with whatever's on the shoe when they come down. If I have heavy, clunky shoes, I don't do it. But I do agree there are times when
You race with flip-flops?
I have a pair. No. I actually have the shoes on right now, which is a pair of sneakers that are really light sole. They're soft and do give you really good control on the brake and the gas, but can't
We
tell you
need-
it's any competitive advantage. Given
We
that.
need Kevin England in a pair of Hey Dudes racing. Straight up. A pair of Hey Dudes. It would be awesome. And I want a photo when you do.
I'm so impressed with Donnie Lee to go out here once again
Yeah.
and qualify up front and lead these guys through. Donnie had a special ride this week. He won the Wall Stadium in the John Blewett, or Blewett Incorporated car
Right,
number
Jimmy's.
18.
Right, yeah.
Jimmy,
Right.
yeah, sorry.
Ah,
And I love the paint scheme, of course, that the typical three-stripe. I think he got caught up into something. We were supposed to go to Wall Stadium this weekend, but we ended up finding a motor for our race car. Ran 4 laps, blew the clutch, loaded in the trailer, and drove home. After a 3-hour ride out to who knows where. So I should have went to Wall Stadium.
that sucks. I'm sorry.
But it's cool to see Donnie's back in a ride. And I always wonder whether the real car helps to translate and or this helps to translate back, because I don't know how this really is for a real racer, but I feel like the hand-eye coordination, the timing, the strategy and all that, I believe it matters. And you heard William Byron talk about how much iRacing he did this week before he won at Watkins Glen. So
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to say it plays an element in some way, shape, or form. I mean, you look at some of the drivers that have come up here. You look at Ty Majeski, you look at Roger, those guys that, I mean, they weren't straight up just iRacing. I mean, they were doing other stuff too. But, you know, you cannot argue that this does not help. Yeah, that kind of stuff that they're doing. But you do, I mean, there's a little thing with track models or whatever that can help you get reps and that kind of thing on a track. I mean, who was it a couple weeks ago that won a, I remember somebody like went out there and booked the field in the race. I can't remember, maybe it was Road America? I can't, somebody said, but they did like 1,000 laps on iRacing or something to get ready for it. Trevor Hunt says in chat, by the way, he races in Hey Dudes.
Hey dudes, yeah. I must be old because I don't know what a Hey Dude is.
It's like a what is it, a loafer, so to say. It's
Okay,
like a Sketcher meets a loafer type shoe.
Yeah, Skechers.
But 32 laps in the books. Donnie Leah's lead is kind of shrunk. Here comes the 99 of Tommy Ryan and the 30 of Brian Macklin. As all of a sudden they show up. Now, one thing I should say, by the way, and you mentioned the modifieds. Obviously tough to see Donnie be in trouble in that race there at Wall Stadium. But can we get some thoughts and prayers out to Tommy Baldwin? Unfortunately announced, was it yesterday, he's going to have to stop operations for a little bit as he battles cancer. Of course, we're at Chicagoland, and what better reminder of somebody fighting something than if you go back to, which, by the way, you can do it, the NASCAR Classics website, the Chicagoland race in 2004, when Casey Kane's leading, And Tony Stewart goes 3 wide past Sterling Marlin and absolutely yeets Kane out of the way and into the wall. And the next thing they shoot to is Tommy Baldwin taking on the whole entire Home Depot crew.
Yeah, he's a scrappy dude.
So,
And he'll be scrappy fighting cancer. He already said that.
oh, absolutely. Obviously, thoughts and prayers to that whole Baldwin family. So,
I know the whole racing community gets behind folks like that, and I know that we all wish him well, and looking forward to seeing him back at the racetrack real soon. Is one of the things we've not talked about in this race are a couple of these drivers are mentioned down there below the white line, right here out of turn number 4. They dip down, and it's no man's land down there on the apron. I saw Joey Jattina before trying to pass the 17 of Kevin Stone. Went down there. If you stay down there a little ways, you get past that start-finish line. It gets rather rough down there. You got to make sure you remember to get back up to the racetrack so you can turn the car in.
and also should say, not that anybody in this league, I've never seen anybody do it here, but there are some people in racing that will play the old, oh, I'm not letting you back up, Dave. And that usually causes a wreck. So, yeah, you got to be very careful. Remember, this track was built in 2001 as Atomic Burrito apparently was at some of the races, including that one in 04. But this track this is the original pavement, 2001. So there are some bumps here that play a pretty big role. Pit stop, I'd say, for lap 35. This track is with the original setup, there are some bumps. Like there's a bump right about there in turn 3 and 4. There's another bump on the exit of 4 that I've been told about that can be kind of treacherous. So, obviously, this track has its character.
I was wondering if Jeff Ryan got into the wall somewhere along the way.
Maybe. Unfortunately, don't tell me that. There's great battles everywhere. I mean, nobody's really been able to pull away from anyone. But that's also, you go back to qualifying, look at some of the lap times we were seeing. I mean, everybody was on top of another lap time-wise. So, you don't expect to see maybe much fall off or I should say separation within the field. I mean, look at the lap times right now up on the time of scoring. I mean, he had a 42, a 37, 31, 38, a 47, a 34, a 46. I mean, nobody's more than 10th off. In the top 10.
Yeah, again, that leads, I think, to part of the character of the racetrack, because you can get really comfortable here and find your way through any line you want. If you mess up the entry of the corner, you let it ride up a little bit. You don't scrub off the speed, especially as forgiving as it is coming around the backstretch. I think one of the harder things in this, because of what you described earlier, where to turn in turn number 3. That confuses a lot of drivers.
It can. And it almost is more inviting to not apex it in there. You can almost drive it straight in, maybe a la in Atlanta or in Las Vegas turn 3, because of the curve in there. But yeah, there's really not a mark. I mean, I always remember, I'm trying to remember when I drove, and I used like one of the either Brant signs or something to be like my brake, or even letting off the throttle into the corner. You see Jose Gonzalez get past Scott Simley. Mojica tries to go by also. There are certain places that, I mean, just get used to it. This is one of those tracks where you don't really have that specific marking, as you said, that tells you, hey, let off here, or hey, get back to the throttle here, and that kind of thing. I mean, I guess you could use this little box-looking thing right there at turn 1 where it looks like part of the track was repaved or something. Or not repaved, but maybe just marked up or something.
Patch, yeah. Sometimes you can find a characteristic in the fence, the wire changes.
Right.
You look at the caution light indicator and you count the Brants before it. It's amazing after lap for repetition that you can actually pick certain things out. Like I'm going to brake at the R and turn down at the 3rd Brant on the wall. Right? That's the typical thing that drivers can do. They know. If you threw quarter, right? Isn't that the Dale Earnhardt story?
Yeah.
Throw a quarter out on the racetrack and he could tell you where it was.
Well, and that's kind of the story of, yeah, so you could use the light there in 3. as your mark. And you know what? I even have marks that I use for pit road, believe it or not. I don't know if you're one of those kind of people, but like there's certain tracks where I know exactly where I want to be on the brake at or close to being on the brake at as I go to that point of the track to go to pit road. Or else I'm going to either be too slow going in or too fast going in. Chicago, I got to look at this real quickly here. Just as
You broadcast enough races to watch me. I'm like Michael Waltrip. I'm at the wrong track. I have no idea how to get on any pit road.
I've told you got to stop bringing your Daytona cars to Martinsville, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, how about, give a shout out to Braden Laster. I did it yesterday. I'll do it again tonight. Young man drove in the ARCA race at Springfield. He put out a little post on Facebook. I saw it Friday, but I think he put it out Wednesday. And he said, hey, give me $100 and I'll put your name on the car. I was like, okay. So I shot the man $100 and he put the Captain Esports Network on the car along with, I think, our Wednesday night broadcasters in the series. They were on the car and like a whole bunch of other people. It was really cool to see. And the man pulled out a top 10. So I can honestly say I sponsored a top 10 ARCA car. Just throwing it away. A little pride.
Yeah, I saw the decals. Was it Brian Wertman?
Yeah, Wertman was taking it because I think Wertman was spotting for him or something.
He went from. I didn't even notice he's here tonight. I didn't think he made it. He's got to be more now. He went from New
He's
York.
got to be tired. I mean, he flew from Charlotte to New York, did the Friday night ARCA race, and then Saturday was in Indianapolis, and then Sunday in Chicago. Which thankfully that trip's not far. Oh, pit stops. Jimmy Coleman, Kevin DeBrown coming to pit road here. Lap 45. This would split the race in 3.
Yeah, Steve Ritter laid Zapparid down as 43 down and away. He finished his service. Doug Roth.
I would
I'm
say. I'm
curious as to whether they're going to take 4 here.
Oh, you got to. You got to. Now, I should say, by the way, Larry Pace winning last night's race on 2 tires. He pulled the Dalton theory out on the field.
Yeah, that's what
I know what you're going.
And then all you got to do is watch Tyler.
Which is funny. Tyler actually he messaged me last Monday night. He goes, "You knew what I was thinking ahead of time." I was like, "Yep."
So to be clear, Tyler can take 4 tires. Let's go. If anybody was going to try.
If you're doing 45 lap runs and taking 2 tires, you're putting yourself in a rock and a hard place because let's note on iRacing, your car gets super loose on 2 tires, and especially when you fill the tank up. Oh, she's skating.
There is something to learn. No?
Donnie Lee on pit road. Oh, there is, absolutely. Aaron, I might be able to send you. There's a couple of YouTube pages out there that actually post all the races and stuff. You can probably go watch it on commercial free. That's part. So Macklin. Oh, caution!
Cool.
Caution out.
Oh.
It is Doug Sigmund. Dougie towed himself back to pit road. This is going to put a wrinkle in things. Caution, lap 49. And obviously a couple things to look at here. First things first, did the leader get out before did Leah get out before the leader got back around? We'll have to keep an eye on that. Is Sigmund
I'm not sure what that was about. He came to a stop over there.
He can't be out of gas.
No.
He's coming off pit road actually here.
He drove around and then came to a stop over in 3 and 4.
Did his car not fill it? Well, no, he
Didn't
wouldn't have
see
been out
any
of fuel.
problem.
It's too early. Oh, his engine blew up. Did he money shift? I don't know if you saw that puff of smoke in the backstretch.
Huh, who knew?
Oh, we have a money shift potentially. As leaders on pit road, Richard Beasley stayed out. Am I seeing this right? Race off pit road could be won by Gonzalez. All right, so according to my timing and scoring here, Donnie Leah is a lap down. And obviously, if he's on pit road, then he would not get the wave around here. So we'll have to see how this works out. But yeah, let's go back here, and you're going to see as we go on board here. He comes off. I'm about to turn
Just
my
a little puff.
I'm about to turn my speaker. Well, you know what? We can watch the gearing here. He's in third. Oh yeah, money shift. He went to second there for a second. We saw it.
Well,
Now,
how about that?
The first question I have is, what is he shifting? Is he H pattern shifting with this car? Because the only way you'd be able to do a shift like that is either you're using an H pattern and you shifted the wrong way, or two, you have the up. I mean, I use paddles. You might have clicked on the paddle maybe accidentally. That's interesting to find out here. So, all right, so yeah, so let's look up here in the front right now. Donnie Lee is the first car at the pace car here. So Tommy Ryan, looks like O'Rourke, Glenn Campbell, Chad Coleman, Jimmy Coleman, Kevin DeBrown, all these cars right here are going to take the wave around and come back to the lead lap and have to start at the tail end of the field. So this actually just came out well for Jose Gonzalez and Scott Simley and Mike Kelly and those guys as we'll come back to green. But first, let's step away for a quick second and hear from our sponsors, 811, as we come back with the restart of the Sim500 NC811 Cup Series on the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, back we are here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Jose Gonzalez leading as the wave rounds go by. We'll see if they throw the yellow back out for a lap here and let those guys catch up, or if we're going to go green this time by. But we've got a special guest up in the booth. We have the Kevin Riddenbacher as he's enjoying some popcorn.
In a jiffy. 13
and
cars took that wave around.
Yeah,
13 cars. Holy cow.
And guess who he did not offer one single kernel to?
Would you like some popcorn?
Now,
You could be.
just saying. All right, coming back to the green, and you know what? Let's let Kevin enjoy the popcorn. Let's turn it up. Presented by old Redbacher. 57 laps in the books. We're about 10 laps from the halfway mark of this 200-mile race. Jose Gonzalez, Mike Kelly, Scott Simley, Eric Arnold, Brian Macklin, their topside on Mojica. As these guys have all taken advantage of that caution during green flag pit stops. And have opened up a pretty decent-sized lead as we check back with Donnie Leah, who's in the 17th position right now. Let me turn your mic on.
Walked out in front of him.
Let me turn his mic on. I was letting him eat popcorn.
Oh,
Donnie! Whoa, baby.
It almost like he missed the corner going in, got into the side of Wesley Donaldson, was able to collect the car.
You know,
not
that's
lose the
so
spot.
easy to do, and I've done it so many times. Uh-oh, look at that. Kevin DeBrown just sent Leah into turn 3, literally.
Woo!
He gave him a bump down the backstretch, and Leah, kicks the wall a little bit.
You do not want to ding the fenders here.
Kevin, this ain't Daytona, my man. He literally bump drafted him going into the corner. It's like, hey, he's got to slow down at some point here. Oh, God. 4 wide.
Oh, this is not going to work here.
They'll
Hopefully
make it
we
work.
keep things straight. There's a little wobble there for Kevin in the middle. Hudson backs out in the Miller Toyota. What a cool looking
That is
paint
a
scheme.
cool, that Bobby Allison throwback. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
And
This has been a big, huge boon for Hudson, who was, I don't know if he missed the start or what the deal was, but he was running right out in front of the leader when the yellow came out and those cautions started going. So the fact that he's now in capacity with other race cars is a huge benefit. Is he wants to know what's below. He's getting a huge push by the 99 of Tommy Ryan.
Hey, let's look
Call
at Brian
before
here.
you dig. He is digging down there on the bottom.
Brian Macklin is on a mission. I mean, I watched him drive from 6th to 2nd, and now he wants to lead. He was to the outside quarter panel. Gonzalez going to try to go up there, 2nd, 3rd groove. I was talking earlier, that groove was working for a little bit. Oh, Mojica almost gets squeezed over there by the Eric Arnold automobile.
Eric Arnold's one of those guys that shows up and just somehow finds speed to run in the top 10 with these guys, even though he makes limited appearances. He's always pretty fast.
Oh, Joe Hudson off the pace here, front straightaway. Wonder if he had to throw his beer out the window or something. Which would technically bring a debris out, because isn't it Miller usually high life in a bottle, which would be glass?
Correct.
That's what I thought.
I think he just clipped the apron on the exit of turn 4, and we talked about the car getting loose. He just did one of those lazy slides down there.
Good save on his part then to keep that in control. As Macklin to the bottom. I think he led that lap. It looked like he led that lap.
He's got a good run down there on the white line coming out of turn number 2, but Jose's got those RPMs up, and
See, that's
he's
the
able to hold them off. Also, got a push from the 2 behind him to kind of shove the air.
That is the beauty of this track. Like, I've always found myself fond of trying to stay on that white line as long as I can around the corner. But, I mean, you could get up there that 2nd groove and, I mean, make it work. And that's what Gonzalez has done, been able to hold off the momentum of that 30 car. Now, all of a sudden, Kelly goes by, as you mentioned. Who is that getting loose? Was that Arnold?
It feels like, you know, we're past halfway and everybody's turned to wake up. They're running a little more on the edge right now, not pacing themselves, not worried about saving tires. And I have to say, I love the way this race is shaking up here. Charles Van Schaik running 7th right now, having a great run in the Fast Line Racing Ford.
Yeah, he's doing a great job in that GOAT car. Of course, GOAT, I've learned, is a, oh gosh, of course it's going to slip my mind. Isn't it like a die-cast company or something like that? That Charles helps run or something like that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, yeah, pretty cool deal there. And I think he gives away or makes die-cast cars for the drivers here, or gets, like, actual driver cars. I don't have that clarified in my head, but he does something with die-cast cars. Let's put it like that. But, yeah, just halfway next time by here. Still got 1 pit stop to go, at least, if we can stay green. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Richard Beasley has come up through the field here, up to 8th. Remember, Beasley stayed out at the caution, kind of pulled a Wortman. and then came to pit road and started out back and has worked his way up to 8th here. So that tide ride looking good, and I see Strope TV has made an appearance.
Well, there's a good little tussle back here for 10th. Stenzel has it. Friery the third wants it. He keeps driving up to the door and turning down. And Robert has found a little speed off of turn number 2. Is able to get in it. I'm not sure if you're seeing the same thing. Stenzel's car blinking in and out a little bit, maybe?
I haven't noticed that yet, but I'll have to check it out. I do know one thing. Thank you to a couple people, Mr. Carrington. Casey Carrington usually watches the stream. They helped me and reminded me of a way that I can fix the paint schemes. I know one thing you told me, Kev, last week was apparently Joe Hudson had been in a different car. So before the race tonight, I was able to fix it. And Joe Hudson's in the right car tonight. So it's a nice reminder. I've made a note to myself that says go in and clean the paint schemes out every week.
Uh-huh.
And it's not automatic like trading paints is. I use Better TP because I'm lazy. And, well, I have the app open. And as soon as cars load up, paint scheme loads up. Done. So, less work for me.
Yeah, I can only imagine what a horror it is every race you go in trying to juggle that ball. So,
well, I would think that it like would update itself, and maybe there's something I have wrong in the settings, which easily is possible. But yeah, there's somebody. Yeah, there's Simley or Stenzel, as you mentioned, blinking there a little bit just now. So Stony Benfield's people watching also. Barbara Pinion, see Kip Cook. Unfortunately for Stoney, he is a lap down in 31st. And I'm not sure exactly what happened to Stoney in this race, or if he's got caught a lap down and chose to be the lucky dog for this next caution, or what the sitch is there.
I'll tell you, there's certain racetracks where if you just pace yourself, you have good lap time, you're consistent, it pays off. And there's a driver that fits that profile. He's in 11th right now, looking for 10th. Joey Chatina having a good run tonight, carving his way through the field. He keeps peaking, but he's been patient. He's not abusing the car. Up 16 positions from his starting spot here, and knocking on the door for a top 10.
Was that a door bang there with Friery? But, well, and one thing, jokingly, I say, he saved himself a set of tires and qualified by running a blistering lap. I mean, that would have been probably slower than a street stock. I'm sure he's going to yell at me for that one.
Ooh.
More door banging there.
That one looked a little closer. That one made me sit up.
And knowing Joey, Joey's one of those, he'll put, like, if you were able to put, like, your hand out the window or a gesture, if you will, Joey's going to do it to you.
Yeah, he gets rather vocal in the channel.
Which nothing wrong with it.
Easily
Little fire.
gets a little loose out of turn 4. Joey's able to draw alongside. He's heading for 9th.
As Pedro Mojica's moved up to 2nd, we watched Mike Kelly go for the lead. We watched Brian Macklin go for the lead. Nobody's been able to get around Jose. Pedro, your turn.
Joey's done really well there on the bottom, but that time he hit the white line, got a little sideways. Out in front of him, everybody's kind of single file. There's one car to the high side, which is the 12. Scott Simley running side by side with Nelson. Where did he come from Rivera? Nelson running 7th, having a good run here tonight.
Those are teammates, I believe, right there from Turn 1 Heroes, the 22 and 12, and Eric Arnold there behind him, trying to be the best NFL paint scheme. Of course, he and the Talking Giants car a couple spots behind him, Anthony Calantoni.
Yeah, the John Boy Media, Dirty Monkey Motorsports Camaro has been kind of quiet tonight. Not broken into that top 10, but oh my gosh, Beasley just
You saw that?
absolutely pancaked the wall. Wow.
Hopefully
He killed it.
Yeah, hopefully he didn't break a toe link with that.
That whole right side is caved in, as now he's going to go underneath the 84 and pulls back up in line, but I can't imagine that car's going to perform well. That was a massive hit over there in turn 4.
Hey, I do want to point this out. I'm jumping back here to 18th now. Oh, Foudy and Coleman getting together here a little bit. Looking at the car right in front of Mr. Foudy there, and that is Donnie Leah, who has not come up through the field at all, really. He is stuck back there, and it starts to wonder maybe how much aero's playing a role here at this track. And obviously the close speeds of everybody. Leah's not really been able to make any kind of hay at all through the field. And obviously I know he's had a couple of issues where he's gotten loose or whatnot. These guys back here. Oh, no! Hard in the wall goes Kevin.
Wow.
Coleman, right hook, unfortunately, there. Down goes Frazier. That car is destroyed.
Brown's car is absolutely destroyed.
Or should I say down goes Holyfield? Which,
I think that's just a byproduct of the one and the 93 getting a little tight. 93 loses it, and 38 had a full head of speed, tagged him in the back.
Now, I think one thing that can't be overlooked is look who's you got a car back there pushing the 38 too. So I don't know if I can fully put this on Chad because watch O'Rourke here. He comes off the top side there. He's going to get right behind Chad and just shove him right there. And then that gets Kevin, and Kevin hits right at the edge of the safer barrier. Oh, that's nowhere better to hit there.
Teamwork makes the dream work until it doesn't.
No.
That car is absolutely killed, and Kevin did make it into pit road. So we remain green with the 26 of Gonzalez out front, breathing a sigh of relief.
Might be a little NFL here. Not for long, as Mojica had a run up there for a second. But once again, Gonzalez just able to carry that bottom side. I'm much like the race Friday night. I mean, you're not really seeing the top side come in. And I had somebody bring this up yesterday when I was talking about it. And I bring up the Friday night race. It was a league race here at Chicago in the Gen 4. They had to change the gear also because of the pegging. And that kind of eliminated the top groove. And somebody brought up to me yesterday, hey, do you think maybe the changing of the gear eliminated the top groove? And I wonder if the same thing is happening here.
Yeah, hard to say. We can ask at the end, but for right now,
Well, I mean, I could find somebody to go down there and talk to about it. They might yell at me. My little, what was it, SRX, Kyle Busch and Joey Logano.
yeah.
I can't say verbally what Kyle said.
I'm looking back there at third place. Macklin looks awful hungry tonight. He's having a good run. These guys have made their way back into contention. And I believe Macklin does not want Pedro to score another win here tonight. He's going to do whatever he can to make sure that 30 is out front of the 58 come checkered flag time.
The only thing I worry about with Brian is we've been here so many times this season. And usually towards the end of the race, something happens. Not that I'm wishing any ill will there. It's just something I've noticed. Is how many times we say, hey, Brian having a good run finally. Brian having a good run. Back. I mean, he did have a couple of top fives here recently. But let's hope he can put this whole thing together here. I know we still got 52 laps to go in this race. But you mentioned Van Schaik also back here battling with Scott Simley. Got the top 11 cars, all within a tenth of each other, pretty much.
I think Van Schaik is going away a little bit here. Simley was able to get around him last lap. Now he's under assault right now as Eric Arnold looking low. Oh! He's going to cover that going into turn 3.
Don't chop the goat, chop the bear.
I have to think that if Eric didn't ease out of that, he could have shipped him for sure.
Now, I've got the audio muted purposely, obviously, as I've started to do that now. But safe to say, did Eric Arnold probably cue the mic and say, don't do that again? I can see Eric doing that.
As Eric's going to swing down low. He's going to draw up to that rear wheel. Now he's to the number. He's going to turn it down in. Make sure he's a good lane down as Van Schaik stays up there. Eric carving at the bottom. White line comes out of turn 4, takes over that position. Unfortunately, that little incident opened up probably an 8 to 10 car length gap, and Arnold's going to have to chase that through. Now, will the 23 stay up there? And you know, as soon as you open that door, you know how it goes, Chris. Everybody else behind
Oh
it's
yeah.
kind of like
Yeah, it's
hammered
taking a
down,
while.
trying to fill the gap. Don't let him back down and take that position. There's blood in the water.
Now I wonder how much Charles there, and this is kind of a racing respect slash, um, etiquette type thing. Um, if Charles maybe knew that he chopped the nose of Eric there, so he gave him the lane and almost gave him that spot and said, "Hey, you got it.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah,
wrong
you're
there."
certainly not going to put up a fight if
Nah.
he comes back and shows a nose underneath. You'll make sure you're extra special high going into the next corner. But you
Go
know,
on.
right now,
Yeah,
it just, second verse, same
got
as the
that.
first Galantoni, right against him coming out of the corner. And Joey's looking like, maybe I'll go through the middle here. Wow.
The middle might not be a good idea because there comes Friary to the top side. Abort mission. Good racing right here. Tony slides up. Both of slides up. And you know what? There's
You gotta
another.
be careful that they're not going to get connected. They'll both go down into the grass here if they're.
But that right there is another part of Chicago that's so overrated. Is this track allows you to kind of come off shallow in turn 2 there. And if you got a car on your bottom, remember, it doesn't say, hey, you've got this much room. So unless you got trips or you can hear a car very well or just kind of know, you can easily hit the person on the top groove coming up the track here. Let's watch again here. Van Schaik on his door, squeezes him, puts himself in the wall.
Oh, that's not going to work well. 77's going to split
boy.
the difference and drive right through him. Holy cow, what a run. He got a little too hard into the corner. Van Schaik's going to look down underneath him. Friery's going to be able to come through. And Tony's going to go, thank you very much. You guys play around up there on the high groove. I'm driving through, and Joey's going to follow me.
And there's one car coming to pit road that was in that pack. Nelson Rivera. He's like, y'all go ahead and have fun. I'm turning left here. So here comes Rivera to pit road, the first of pit stops, which this is about 40 laps into a run. So it should be 4 tires and fuel here. And I would say now you still can't take 2 tires here. Still too long of a race to go. What are you humming over there?
All by myself. He is all by himself, and the draft plays a role here. So that's a rather interesting call. The hope that he is banking on is when he comes back to the racing surface, he could possibly pick up one of these packs.
Well, but he'll have enough speed too because they're running on fresh tires about 1.5 seconds quicker a lap. So he should be able to still carry the speed through the corners. But yeah, I think that'll maybe
He missed that really big cluster of cars coming in here. He's going to be able to pick up the 16 maybe of Ritter, but that's about the extent of it. So
Wesley
if he
Donaldson.
could have just picked up the back bumper of Richard Beasley there, that would have been really helpful. Was Donaldson on pit road, as you said?
Yeah, the WBD diecast number 91. That's my Spanglish. Tommy, or is that Jeff Ryan? Jeff Ryan on pit road. I about just said straight up Tommy.
Tell you one guy who's looking for roll bar padding, you know, something has got to be Beasley. He slipped all the way back to 23rd. That car has got to be junk at this point from the damage that he has. And he would love to see a caution and get the damage.
Is he throwing roll bars out, or is Stoney Benfield throwing
Water bottles,
what do they
whatever
call
they
it?
can have.
Scrolls that they would use for like his sermons, throwing them out on track.
I watched him unscrew the ball on the top of the shifter label and throw that out
Throw
the
that thing
window.
out there. Hey, I broke it.
I don't need this. Oh, what was that?
What happened?
Kevin Stone missed the entry to the corner, locked him up. I don't know if he...
You know, that's so easy to do here. And not just here, but how many times do you catch yourself looking in the mirror and be like, oh, I was supposed to turn there. And you almost hit the other guy.
Yeah, I think he just missed the turn in, and when he was coming off the racetrack, he was going to catch the 54 of Campbell, and he locked him up.
Yeah. So Gonzalez
Now,
still
a bit of a conveyor belt here. Everybody's kind of spread out. And you're absolutely right. Rivera not only caught those guys, drove past a couple of them.
As Leah now starting to slowly work his way through here. He's about to take 10th here for Robert Ferrari. But it's taken him an awful long time here, almost a full run to get himself to track position. Unfortunately for Donnie, he is about 4.5 seconds off the lead, which actually isn't terrible for somebody who started tail end Charlie pretty much.
I think what it really needed to have happen is have the cars break up, right? Because when they're running nose to tail in that draft, in a pack, you really can't make a pass. But once they start to single file out, your driving line makes a difference, especially if you kind of conserve the tires a little bit while running back there.
As Charles Van Schaik is on pit road, Kevin DeBrown just blew a motor. I don't think he realized his motor was still running. Doug Roth on pit road. And by the way, didn't know this until I recently read Charles Van Schaik's crew chief is Billy.
Billy?
Billy Goat.
Oh. You set that up perfect.
Come on.
Come on. Bump.
This will tell me if a couple people I know could be watching the stream or not here in a second.
What I have to say about that car is I love the color. It's so unique that there is absolutely no doubt when you look out from the grandstand who's in that car.
I'm trying to think in my head here, which there isn't much to think. But I'm thinking as Tyler Dalton, Jimmy Coleman come to pit road, of a purple, I guess I can think of the camel paint scheme with Jimmy Spencer maybe? Had that purple?
Purple and yellow, yeah.
I believe a couple times Steve Grissom ran a wrestling car, WCW car. I believe it was purple.
Wasn't there a Cartoon Network car?
That Steve Grissom, yeah, same car, pretty much.
Okay.
Trying to think what else maybe had purple on a car. Obviously Denny Hamlin now, but not that kind of purple. So Jimmy Coleman, Tyler Dalton, Ritter, as you mentioned, Robert Fryery, Gerald Livingston on pit road. So the leader's pretty much still hanging out here. 37 to go. As the window's open here for fuel. So a lot of guys coming kind of early here.
I kind of think if you're a Jose Gonzalez, you're out front, you're a clean racetrack, you can run it till it's dry, and then the time it would take for you to fill up is less than everybody else. And if you've got no obstructions, I'm in a safe place. I'm just going to continue to click off these laps, burn down these. The same thing for Pedro.
Now, just make sure if you flip the switch on your reserve, you do not run more than 2 laps.
Yeah. What was that about?
I was on board, actually. I rode on board with Chase all race yesterday. And if anybody was reading social media today, when they said it was completely silent on the radio after that, they're not lying. Literally for about 15, 20 laps after that, because that happened at halfway. After that, it took probably 15 to 20 laps before finally Chase keyed the microphone and said, what lap times is the leader running? Like, there was not a word said other than the spotter saying, hey, clear, whatever. And even like that, when he asked that question, his spotter, or his crew chief, Gustafson, didn't say a word really for a second. So something tells me there's some tense moments going on.
75 on pit road, 84 on pit road, 17 coming in for some service, 42 is down and away. So we're starting to see the pit stops as Calantoni right side's going on his Camaro.
Right sides for Calantoni. He went 2 tires.
There they come.
Now, safe. Oh, by the way, Calantoni's been hanging out in a certain channel. So I'm not surprised by that move.
Pedro Mojica in, giving up second position right here.
And you know what? Anthony's not the
Front
only one who
tires.
made this move, by the way.
We have 4 tires in fuel here for the 58.
Hey, Kev?
Yes, sir.
Tyler Dalton took 2 tires.
Of course he did. Here comes your leader, the 26. He's going to give up.
Yep, Gonzalez is in. So that tells me that basically there is not a lot of left rear or a lot of left wear on the left side tires, because that has been what the trend is apparently with the tire build in this car, is that the left sides do not wear much. And that opens the door.
That left rear, though, at some of these tracks, I think at Kansas, it does have that. Right side tires going on 26. Will he take 4?
You got to go for it.
No, yeah. Okay, they're going to come around and change left sides. So,
You got to remember, Tyler's been running mostly mid-pack, so is Calantoni. So 2 tires here, they're just going to try to steal some track position
get a
potentially.
little track position if they get a late
I
caution.
think if you're up front, maybe an Eric Arnold or something like that, maybe you try 2 tires. Otherwise, you've got to go 4, I think.
Good pit stop for Gonzalez down and away. We're going to see where he maps out to the 58. Well, he didn't quite do very well. 58's about 3 or 4 cars in front of him.
And it's Macklin 4 tires and fuel, 14.5.
Pedro right now sits first car 1 lap down. He has a tense moment here. Is there 3 wide? He goes around Donnie Leah.
You know what I'm seeing here? I'm trying to look at the numbers real quickly because you obviously ask how did Mojica get ahead of Gonzalez. I mean, obviously the one issue is the 1 lap, obviously difference, which is about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds of time. Pit road time, Gonzalez was about 0.5 second slower. Otherwise, it wasn't really a big difference as Eric Arnold comes to pit road and Tyler Dalton's about 0.8 of a second behind Pedro right now.
Yeah, Pedro just killed him on pit road. He's going into turn 3 right now. Macklin, who was running with him, was coming off of turn 2 as Pedro was going into 3. He had a full straightaway on him.
Yeah, it just shows you the lap time you're gaining here in that short amount of time. I mean, it gets to the point where if you stay out 1, 2, 3 laps after a leader comes to pit road, you might as well just run the tank out and try to swap ends with it to have the fresher tires for a longer time, but you're going to be farther back, so it's kind of a give and take here. So yeah, you mentioned Donnie Leah. I'm pretty sure Donnie is going to probably run this tank out.
Yeah, I would agree.
Chad
And I
Coleman.
think that's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah. Chad Coleman second, Josh Parker third. Now, let me plant this one on you. This could be where you see Donnie Leah take 2 tires.
Yeah, Donnie right now is hoping for a caution in a little bit. We've got 27 to go, and if you run a little bit further, then everybody's going to go in and get fresh tires because they're going to need it, and he'll have the track position. And by the way, you go back to 17th and beyond; they're all 1 lap down. So those drivers, well, there goes Friery around him, so he's going to come back to the lead lap. But caution right now would be Donnie's probably ace in the hole.
Not only that, but it would kind of hurt the momentum of Mojica and Dalton. Even though they'd be on the lead lap, they would almost be in a spot where how much did they hurt their tires for the end of this race and their tire situation? What is it at that point? As Jimmy Coleman comes up to the back of the 29 now, 25 laps to go is strategy going on everywhere. Josh Parker. Oh, Donnie got the wall.
Oh, no.
He tagged it a little bit right rear.
I think I saw him get a little piece of it off turn 2 a lap ago, too. He's hustling that car. Is Beasley down and away?
As Josh Packer is on pit road. That was my Boston accent.
Pack the car.
Go with that. 4 tires, fuel, and Parker leaves. 15-1. Chad Coleman coming to pit road, so
3 drivers, Leah, Coleman, and O'Rourke, have not pitted yet. Now Coleman comes down. When will Leah and O'Rourke?
Leah pitted at 47. We're at 110 now, so that's 50 laps, right? 56 laps? 50, something like that. Carry the 1. 4 tires for Coleman.
A 31.466 last time around for Anthony Calantoni. A 31.341 for Pedro.
Callantoni, remember the 2 tires earlier. As Parker kind of holding them up a little bit here.
I wonder if that's
Hmm.
that is not copacetic there.
There's contact. Anthony gets a little loose. Here comes Pedro.
That is not going to be well received.
Yeah, you said the word copacetic. Donnie's on pit road. You said the word copacetic. I've got to pull out the thesaurus again. I remember that word. Oh, Donnie's quick out. 2 tires for Donnie. I like this call because I think they've gone long enough in the run to where the right side tires might be fresher, or will be fresher enough to outrun the 4 tires that others have taken in this pit stop run. That's why I kind of like this move. The problem is, though, Donnie's going to come out 21st, now 22nd, and he is going to have about 16 seconds to make up in 21 laps. I don't think he can do that much.
Yeah, I say stick a fork in him. Right now, this battle for the lead is going to be amazing here as Callantoni is mirror driving left, right, just holding Pedro off, but I think it's only a matter of time. Pedro's going to find a lane.
He might just wait for Anthony to make a mistake.
Or shove him in the corner. I think he's going to get a corner on him now.
Oh, and that was a little chop on him.
Yeah, at some point when you see the nose down there, you cannot turn left.
I got to remember back
Pedro
to
being very conservative, doing a good job.
Anybody watching? Somebody. I need somebody from last night who was watching. Was Callantoni in that wreck that Pedro got into the back of somebody in turn 1?
There comes Pedro to the outside. He's got a good run this time. They're side by side.
You know what this is doing? This is bringing Jose Gonzalez to the fight.
Yeah, I think Pedro's got him this time. He just needs to roll the top out of turn number 2 and to the backstretch. He should be able to clear Anthony.
He's pretty much clear. If Anthony gets that left rear.
He's there. That is some fight, and Callantoni, he put him right to the corner. Wound that car up, pulled back up alongside. If I'm Pedro, I'm just going to be patient.
Coleman's going to help a teammate there, so he'll give a little drafting help. And that's going to clear Mojica there off the corner. So
now that I don't have an issue with. That's a fair enough play there. That doesn't mean Callantoni's done. I'm curious to see whether or not he can ride in the tire tracks here and possibly mount another run.
17 laps to go.
But an outstanding effort in Callantoni camp to get to where he is right now. Play that track position against one of the best in the business this year, and he's right there toe-to-toe with him.
Now, of course, I think any viewer watching, even Kev, you could probably say it, I could say it even, is thinking out loud. You could say, look, Pedro does not need help to pass this guy.
No,
and that's not disrespecting Anthony. It's just, Pedro's a pretty good driver. But you know what? In any kind of situation, a teammate can help somebody. Give him that little scoot. Help him out a little bit.
Help's okay. Hinder is not.
Yeah. Chase Elliott at Bristol, okay, you have an argument there, but in fairness, he was ticked off at Kevin.
Yeah.
You go back to the Atlanta race with Chastain holding up Kyle Busch so Kurt could get around him. You got, let's see, here's plenty of those little moments.
Eddie and Chastain.
I mean, you could even throw up
I think in the end of the day, that 58 was going to be faster here because of the
look who's
4 tires. But
Anthony's holding strong here.
That's what I said. If he could tuck into this draft and run clean laps, get the car to roll through the corner, cool those tires off, he's not going to go away.
So, got 15 laps to go. Let's do this real quickly because we owe them one. Let's step away and get 811 their break here as you're watching the Captain Esports Network in the Sim500 NC811.com.org Cup Series.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
There you see the battle. Just a tenth of a second. Anthony Calantoni and Pedro Mojica. Anthony on 2 tires, Pedro on 4. And Pedro was able to get around Calantoni to get the lead just a couple laps ago as Calantoni and Pedro had to battle some lap traffic from pit stops and so on and so forth. Jose Gonzalez has got it down to 1.7 seconds in third. Mike Kelly, Brian Macklin, your top 5. And you obviously brought up the point of the teammates helping Mojica there a little bit, which, of course, I'm going to bring up the map here for a second. I want to see on the map where potential help for Calantoni could be, because you would think that Anthony is probably talking. He's in that. He's been in the Sim500 Mafia channel, hanging with those guys, and I think it's safe to put out there might be a little rivalry there. So you look around, it's like, all right, who on track right now? And you see them in turn 1 right now. So you got Scott Stenzel, Jeff Ryan. There's Coleman, who already went by. You see Parker up there. Doug Roth might be your first option. So if Calantoni were to get help. But I don't know if it's going to get to that kind of a game, you would think, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know that we could translate what we saw to anybody else doing something. I'm sure Anthony might have ability to communicate with others, but right now, drivers are like elephants. They have a great memory.
That's fair.
So somewhere along the line that may or may not come back to it, but right now I'm watching this scrap back here for 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Tyler Dalton, his 2-tire change is kind of biting him here a little bit as a couple drivers rolling by. The 31 just rolled underneath. Joey Chatina rolled under. I still like the play. If there had been a caution, the track position would have been worth it. But unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't pair out that way. This is a green flag style racetrack because, again, you can go to any groove, but that doesn't mean we won't see a caution here with 9 to go. So don't count your chickens before they hatch.
We've seen plenty of races end or go crazy in a race like this. Now, update on Donnie Leah. Took those 2 tires. He's the fastest car on the track. He's about 0.7 of a second faster than everybody. He's up to 14th. And he's within about 10 seconds. He's going to come up a little too late. But the man is making a march. And I don't think you can rule out, obviously, a top 10, I think, in this race for Donnie, which I know he's not going to be happy about. And by the way, you mentioned earlier sticking a fork in Donnie. Let's remind you, Jimmy Johns, you don't use forks.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I guess you could. Open face.
What is a roast beef sandwich with gravy?
Oh, you're talking about au jus.
Yes. I would want a fork for that.
Bless you.
Gesundheit. I'll tell you, this battle pack here for 10th. Oh, man, it's cool.
A fight. Joey
Gatina's down underneath Rivera. They're both trying to track their way around Wesley Donaldson. Eric Arnold was running with them. He's been able to gap them a little bit, but Joey is right there tight to the 91, trying to see if he can move underneath the LaRue Ford Mustang.
Glenn Campbell there with him, also then the 13th position, I should say. As we come to 6 laps to go. So 2 races left, by the way, in the regular season. After tonight, we go to the Kentucky Speedway next week. We'll have some bourbon and some racing. Oh, Wesley got the wall a little bit there. And then Daytona, of course, to finish it out. And that'll be the weekend after Labor Day. So we'll get a week off for Labor Day weekend. You'll probably see me run 1 or 2 Southern 500s on iRacing. Because why not?
I might go. I mean, we've been having conversation. We're going to North Carolina.
Okay.
It's between the Hall of Fame and or going to Darlington. I'm not sure which one.
I think that's an automatic answer. I mean, you can go to the Hall of Fame any weekend. Darlington, you have 2 chances every year, and there's only one year you can go to the Southern 500.
You have to convince my wife that she wants to sit in the stands for 4.
Nighttime and
Brought her there one time.
Oh,
it was
geez.
99 degrees. Oh man, it was hot.
Now, well, of course, that's back when they ran the race during the daytime.
How about Donnie Leah, man? He chased these guys down here for this 10th place position, and he's down underneath Campbell. He went to the apron in order to get the track position he needed as Joey drove through them, and Joey had picked up that victory, if you can, to come to 9th, but he's going to be in close contention here for 4 to go with Donnie Leah, as Donnie's making hay right now.
As it looked like Mike Kelly might have caught the outside walls. We go back to that battle, and we got a battle for second starting to light up here as Gonzalez has caught Calantoni. With 3 laps to go from Chi-Town. And we talked.
Chi-Town got it going on.
I heard that.
Got the 3-car of Jeff Ryan running 26, 1 lap down right there in that mix between the top 5. I'm not sure if that's going to hamper or help the 30 of Brian Macklin, who's right there behind him running 4th.
Good job on Macklin running a complete race here tonight. Stayed up there all night. Has done a great job. And looks like he's going to get himself a top 4 unless something just nuts happens. Which, I go back to Pedro Mojica, who leads through 3, or coming through 3 and 4. I remember his words to me a couple weeks ago was, I need to get more wins. That was his words. He went to Indianapolis last week and won the Brickyard, and now he's a mile and a half away from potentially doing a Chicago shuffle, if you will, as Calantoni and Gonzalez are back there having fun for second. I saw Calantoni throw a block into 1.
Yeah, they're door to door coming down into turn number 3. Jose's carving the white line. I'm wondering if Anthony's going to hold him down. He comes down, leaves a little bit of room. Good run off of turn 4. He's going to be able to nose ahead to the start-finish line. Jose goes down. Oh, to the grass. Here's your yellow flag.
Well, it's actually the checkered flag, as Calantoni finishes second to Pedro Mojica, who gets a second straight win, by the way. Here at the Chicagoland Speedway, gets the victory as Calantoni edges Macklin by 4/100ths of a second. Macklin ends up 4th with Scott Simley 5th.
I don't know if Jose had enough of a run to get to him. I was so busy watching the race, I wasn't watching the scoreboard for the laps.
Hey, I was letting
But
you have
holy
fun.
cow. Yay!
Hey, that was a good
They'll
fight.
laugh about that, my guess.
For Mojica, his 5th win of the season, so now he's broken that tie with Parker. He's got 5 on it now.
He just made a D.
He did do that, didn't he?
Yes.
I got nothing.
Perfect D.
He probably
Like
didn't even know, to be honest with
A
you.
clef note or something and down there. Music to his ears.
Ah, yes. That car's got plenty of tire.
I don't care what you think. It's still fun to watch that.
Oh, it is. That's why I just sit here and enjoy it. I put the old, like, and I do this purposely. I don't know if anyone's ever caught this, but, like, the camera I put on when they're doing the burnouts is like the old NASCAR console games. When you're doing the burnouts after you win, it does that camera in front of the car. I do that on purpose. As Mojica goes to victory lane, started back in 19th and slowly matriculated his way to the front there and outran the 2 tires of Anthony Calantoni to go to victory lane here tonight. 5th win of the season and a 2nd straight now. After winning at Indianapolis last week, going to victory lane in Chicago. We'll see if he can continue.
Did you just say matriculated?
I did say matriculate.
You said. Hold on, I got to look it up.
Yeah, that's if you go back to the old 69 horsepower trap in the Hank Stram days of the Kansas City Chiefs, that was the word he used. You got to matriculate the ball down the field.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, So I guess that means move. I really don't know what the word means either. But
Be enrolled at a college or university. Okay.
That has nothing to do with that. Oh, I didn't even look up your other word, by the way. All right, let's take a look at the final results here from Chicago. You've made me laugh tonight, and I appreciate that. That's qualifying results, by the way. Let's get the actual results up. Here they go. Mexico wins it by 0.6 over Calantoni, as I mentioned. Gonzalez, Macklin, Scott Sibley, another top 5 finish for him as he continues his momentum. Mike Kelly there behind him. So a good run for the Turn 1 Ace, or Turn 1 Heroes, whatever they're called. 5th, 6th, and 12th for them. Kelly 6th, Ryan 7th. Donnie Leah gets back to 8th. Higher up than I thought he would be. Good job. And that was just on 2 tires. So that right there shows you where an advantage of on a track like this of going as long as you can and then throwing the 2 tires on. I actually did that. Which race was it in the truck series? Homestead, when we went caution free, I think it was. I went as far as I could, threw 2 tires on it, and actually passed a couple cars on my way to finishing like 50th or something like that. Yeah. Donaldson 13th, Tyler Dalton 14th. Not a good run for him. Joe Hudson, Jimmy Coleman, Robert Fryery, Charles Van Schaik 18th after running up there in the top 5 most of the night. So I'm sure he's not going to be happy. Glenn Campbell, we talked about him. Where did I leave off? Seth Foudy 19th, 20th. Steve Ritter, Josh Parker, Kevin Stone, Gerald Livingston, Chad Coleman 24th. Doug Roth 25th. Jeff Ryan, Richard Beasley, EJ O'Rourke ends up a lap down in the 28th position. And Stenzel 29th. Stoney Benfield, unfortunately 2 laps down. Kevin DeBrown and Doug Sigmund. Sigmund blew the motor with the money shift. And finishes dead last, unfortunately, in the Extrava Tony Danza. All right.
That was entertaining.
It was. Great race. Great racing there. I think good job on everybody's part to work with the adjusted setup that they had to do for the gearing and stuff like that. And let me see. Is Jose around? Jose sometimes will sneak around here. He's like Speedy Gonzalez. You'll see him and he's gone. So we'll wait on Jose, and I guess we'll go ahead and jump up here as I see Anthony's kind of hanging out here waiting on us. So we'll let Kevin talk to the second place finisher.
Yes, sir. Anthony Calantoni, that was entertaining. I don't know if you're going to use that word for the end, but we enjoyed watching you race there. And when Pedro got around you, it wasn't easy sailing after that either. And especially entertaining last lap there. Take us through your night. It was pretty eventful.
Well, first, I want to apologize to Jose. I didn't mean to cut down in front of his nose there. I was just trying to come down the track and go get to his door so I could hold on to second. I felt bad. I took us out there right at the line, but that wasn't what I meant for. But yeah, I mean, the beginning of the race was pretty smooth. We were all just kind of riding, and then once we got close to that first pit stop there, the car was it was rolling for me. I must have did a good job saving, and it was I could roll like the second groove to the down, and once it hooked, I got such a run coming off the corner, and then obviously we got caught with that yellow coming out with pit road there, and it put me in the back a little bit, and then mine just took my time going up there and trying to get back up there, and I took the gamble with 2 tires there at the last stop, and it worked out. I thought we were going to have it. I thought the clean air was going to hold me up there, keep me in front of them, but some I don't know, some disrespect there.
Extracurricular activity, yes, we saw that.
Yeah, I mean, guys complain all the time about respect, but they don't want to give it. So I guess it's going to have to come around sooner or later. I don't like doing it, but you have to give it to them now.
Yeah, fair enough. I think about this racetrack and take us through the setup and how the tires were wearing. We seen any left side wear?
The left sides were wearing. They weren't wearing as much as the rights were, but if you just, I guess you hit the line right and saved the right way, it paid out at the end. And this is one of my most favorite tracks too. So I love racing the Chicago track. It's so fun, the old surface, and it just forces you to save your tires.
Well, it was fun race from our vantage, and I'm sure it was fun for you. A second place finish, so close, and just keep racking up those top finishes like this, and you'll be in a good place come the end of the season. So nice job, Anthony. I understand you had a little fun at Wall Stadium this weekend. That was cool. Saw the picture with you and Donnie, and sorry I missed you. We went racing. That didn't turn out well, but glad you had a good time there.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was great meeting Donnie for the first time. A hell of a guy, nice guy, and just go everyone, just go and support your local short track. You don't know how long they're going to be there. You never know, so support as much as you can.
It's got to be fun to meet somebody for the first time on the weekend and then race them again on a Monday night. I always thought that was a blast when we went to Bristol and met other drivers and stuff. But anyway, want to give you a moment to give a shout out to whoever you want. Thank anybody you have. The floor is yours.
Especially a little bit more fun when you beat them. But
Yes,
not just want to thank Talking Giants, John Boy Media, the fans, you guys for the broadcast. 811 Call Before You Dig for the sponsorship of the series. We wouldn't be able to do this without them and everyone watching. So we'll go get them next week.
there you go, Anthony Calantonia. Exciting second place finish, and we're going to turn it over to Chris, who's caught up with Jose Gonzalez.
Yeah, Jose Gonzalez, obviously the third place finisher. When it's all said and done here tonight, Jose, obviously close racing between you and Kevin and you and Kevin. Yeah, you and Kevin raced close up in the booth, I guess here. But no, and also you and Anthony battling for the second position. Anthony actually felt bad. He actually said, I didn't mean to chop his nose or cause anything there, but just hard racing there coming for second. But I'm sure there's a little disappointment that you weren't in victory lane tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's Pedro had an awesome pit, and that was that. That was the whole race. I know I can, if I don't get wrecked, I know I can be up there, battling for wins. But this year it's been tough on me. I think I've been wrecked in like 15 races this year.
Right.
So yeah, and a couple of them I've been, just ready to win the race and late caution or I get wrecked or something. And if the race is it's got a long run and there's less cautions, I know I have a chance because I know how to conserve my stuff. That's why I did today. And I knew Pedro would not catch me there, and I was catching Pedro there at the end, but it was too short of a race for me.
Well, obviously, I know that would have been a battle that you wanted. Is there anything you feel that you could work on maybe more to equal out that kind of deal? Is it just simply a lap difference, or is it something on entry or exit on pit road, or what did you see potentially as that difference, or have you not had a chance to go look yet, or?
No, I mean I didn't practice for this week. I usually get ready and practice a little bit and go around the track and pit. And this time I didn't, so I was very cautious because I'm so far down in the points that I just wanted to just ride around and get some points, and I didn't want to be too aggressive. And my pit wasn't that horrible, but Pedro was amazing.
Right.
Everybody was saying like, wow, I think Kelly was 1 second behind Pedro and came out of the pits like 3.5 seconds behind.
Well, great job tonight, man, finishing in the third position. Yeah, well-deserved, too, because, as you said, you've had plenty of issues. You'd run well, and all of a sudden something would happen. And it obviously worked out for you tonight, finishing in the third spot. Send some shout-outs to whoever you like to.
I would like to thank my man, Kevin England, man.
How much he pay you for that?
Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. That's funny. How much you pay him, Kev?
I just pay him in smiles, man.
You give him a bunch
Infectious.
of peanuts, didn't you? Or you gave him popcorn, didn't you? That's what you did.
Nobody's yeah. It was a
popcorn
truckload of popcorn.
You give him those tubs that you get from like Walmart.
Yeah.
The ones with like the caramel, the cheese one, and then the one you don't touch. So
I
here
don't
we go.
like the sweet stuff. That's
Exactly.
the
I mean,
yeah.
Pedro knows what we're talking about, right? You get the tub of popcorn with the 3 slivers in it. One's usually caramel, the other one's usually cheese, and there's the one you don't touch.
He's like, what the heck did I come
Hey, can you tell what we were doing the last couple hours? As Pedro joins us here, man, victory lane for the 5th time, 2 in a row. You said you needed to win more. I guess you've found a way to do it.
Yeah, no, Chris, I don't I don't know about tonight, man. It was tough. We didn't do ourselves any favors. We started practically mid pack or towards the back. Didn't really do well in qualifying, so I pretty much was like, well, I'm just gonna have to do my best to save tires and see what we could do. And um, yeah, I guess we were able to do it decent enough. We got a decent start at the start of the race, got close to the top 10, and then just slowly started picking our way up. I think we got to about 5th before pit stop started, and then that one and only yellow, it worked out for us. We stayed out and we got a little bit more track position, but then I screwed that up and I slid through my box, so then I had to kind of pass a couple guys I had to pass over again. But yeah, I mean the race was all about track position. You know, I got up to second there, second in the last run, and I was stuck behind Jose. There wasn't really much I could do. I mean, I figured I was probably faster, but the dirty air was just practically putting up like a brick wall. So, biggest thing I was just trying to do not to kill the right front, and then, you know, once people started pitting, I figured my best chance would be to undercut Jose. And so we did that, got out in front of him, almost, you know, Cal and Tony did a great job. I was a little afraid we weren't going to get to him, but we were able to get to him and race clean for the win. And yeah, and then Jose, you know, he just ran out of time. So, but yeah, it worked out in the end. But again, yeah, track position was king. So honestly, I don't know, man. We just drove smooth, man, and that's how we got up into the top 5. And then from there, it was just strategy.
Hey, the old classic definition of racing is the first one to get to the line in the least amount of time. So you definitely pulled that one off. So Kevin and I talked about this a little bit. Obviously, mile and a halfs are usually get some good wide racing, kind of can be tough to pass and that kind of thing. Tonight obviously looked tougher to pass. Now there was an adjustment in the setup that obviously the gearing, because you guys were pegging pretty much at the middle of the front straightaway earlier in the week. So did that gearing eliminate the top side?
I wouldn't say eliminated it. It did make the setup tighter though. I felt like the top was better at the start of the race, and maybe it faded away at the end, or maybe I just wasn't doing it right. I don't know, but um, I wouldn't say the gearing necessarily affected the top too bad. Because I was able to utilize it to gain its spots during that first run. So, but yeah, there at the end, I felt, you know, I was trying to use it against Jose, and I didn't really feel like I was making a difference at all. So I don't know if again that, you know, him being in clean air, you know, you have way better tire wear than the guys behind you. So I don't know if that could have been affecting me as well, not getting as good of a drive off. But yeah, I would say the gear change didn't really affect the top
Gotcha.
as much. It just made you tighter.
I come from the angle of like most of the racing you saw was bottom to middle. And there were some times you saw the third groove, especially on restarts. I saw EJ go up there a couple times. I saw Macklin make a couple moves up there. But that was about as far up as you could go. You couldn't get up there against the boards at all.
Yeah, I felt like way up there was no man's land,
Right.
to be honest. So it seemed like that was way too far. Um, the car, I mean, for how tight it was, it seemed like it was good to kind of enter high and then try to drive down the hill to try to get a good run off the corner. So that a lot of people look like they were doing that. Even with running the bottom, they would maybe be a little like half a lane up on entry to center and then drive down on exit.
Which is interesting because most of these setups we're seeing these days in this car, and not necessarily in this car, but at Chicago, you're almost fighting loose on the bottom for a while because of the worn out tires, and you got to get up the track. Where tonight it seemed like the opposite. So, well, hey,
No, I
great
wish
job.
the setup was loose. I wish the setup was loose. It was so brutally tight.
I know, like I said, I ran the truck fix series here a few weeks ago. I think it was during I think it was the off weekend of NASCAR. And man, I tried to make the bottom work, and it was like I had to go to the top because it was just dancing down there at the bottom. But nonetheless, man, great jobs. 5th win of the season, and add to that point lead a little bit and send some shout-outs.
I appreciate you guys, Chris and Kevin, Captain Esports, for putting on the broadcast. Hopefully, we put on a show for you.
That was impressive.
We only had one yellow, so that was good. So that was good for everybody at Sim500. And then I appreciate the admins for what they do. Appreciate Trans Service and Glenn Campbell for jumping on board, sponsoring me for this year. Max Graphics for painting the car. NC811. I appreciate everything they do for the Sunday and Monday series and everything they do for Sim500. Appreciate them. And then all the guys on Team Name. Seemed like we struggled as a group. I don't know. We talked a good bit during the race, and I don't know what I did different that I was able to save a little bit better than everybody within the group. Donnie was out, lights out. Unfortunately, he got caught out with that yellow, or you'd be probably talking to him. He's been fast, man. He took a little break, came back, and he's been lights out every week. So, but anyways, shout out to all them guys. Appreciate them. Appreciate all the help from them. And then family, I appreciate them for letting me come and hang out for a couple hours.
All right, bud. Nice job tonight. Congratulations on the win, extending the points lead. And let's see, Sunday next week we're at Michigan, so we'll get you ready for the playoffs. Hopefully you can get it back going on that side.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think Sunday we're Michigan, and next Monday we're Kentucky, I think.
Yes, Bourbon.
Kentucky.
You'll see if you can do the Midwest sweep.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We'll see.
Is Kentucky the Midwest? I guess you can call it that. All right,
close enough.
yeah, right. So, I mean, Mid Ohio Valley Conference in basketball. Yeah, I guess it works. All right, so nice job, man, and congratulations.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Buddy. Pedro Mojica, winner tonight here in Chicago. Is it bad that I use sports references to figure out regions?
No, a lot of the world lives that way, I think.
All right, Missouri Valley basketball. I mean, you got the Northern Kentucky. I can't remember their names now, but they're right there on the edge of Cincinnati, and Kentucky Speedway's right down 71 there. So
I'm sorry, if it's not racing, I don't speak that language.
I understand. No, I'm kind of that way too. But even though I'm still trying to figure out what half the words you say is. All right, so we get done. Did you finish your popcorn?
I did.
All right, good.
It was
Just one.
delicious.
Yeah, I bet it was. I'm going to go eat an actual dinner now. And we'll get you ready for next Sunday night again, Michigan Speedway, for the final race of the first round. And that is going to be a battle because we've got some guys right there near the bubble. And Michigan could be arguably one of the best tracks you could have for an elimination round. So Sunday night, we'll have that for you. And the next Monday night, as we go to the Kentucky Speedway, I believe it's a new edition. So we'll be talking about all the different racing there because obviously right now the Kentucky Speedway in real life sits home of a whole bunch of Ford F-250s and 150s and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So that track sits dormant, and we'll talk about the different elements of turn 1 and 2 that you're pretty much going to be almost wide open through, or at least not off throttle much. And then turn 3 and 4 that, well, it's going to be a sweeping corner, kind of like, I guess, an old Las Vegas, maybe, if you will. So,
Yeah.
but, hey,
I would go with that.
Kev, appreciate your time, and go have fun this week.
I want to say tomorrow night, super late models,
Yes.
race number 2 in the season, going to Homestead.
Ooh.
Race last week was a total blast. And if you've not tried the super late models, of course, there's racing 7 nights a week here
Right.
at Sim500, but super late models, yeah, you got to come.
That's going to be interesting. Super late models at Homestead. Because I don't know if you're going to have max grip out there.
Oh, it's going to be a blast.
That ought to be interesting to see. All right, yeah. So check out the super late models tomorrow night. If you want to be a part of that, go hit up, I don't know, hit up Kevin or something. Spam him on Discord.
Sim500.com.
You can also go to that website, sim500.com. So appreciate everybody for being a part of the broadcast. We're going to head out. Always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring, just want a life that is worth every day exploring,
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.